Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit awkward, this video, because the phone is in the wheel of the car, so I'm gonna, as I turn, it's gonna kind of do this. Maybe just listen if you get seasick easily. The point is kind of to take the thesis that you have and attempt to disprove it to the maximum. You examine the counter arguments and actually come to the conclusion that they are false. Not that they seem false, but that they are false. If all of the counter arguments are false or negligible or are not provable without a reasonable doubt, then you can believe in that thing. So this is what that doesn't mean. This doesn't mean believe what you're told. That's not what that means. You have to actually put conscious effort into believing something. You can't just think, oh, okay, this is what it is. I've thought this for years. It has to be the case. No, you have to prove yourself right. And that takes conscious effort. And this is what will happen. I think that people will attempt to get other people to prove them wrong and be like, well, nobody's proven me wrong, so what I believe is right. How do you know? Have you tried to prove yourself wrong and failed? That's kind of the giveaway that what you believe in is likely true. And this process can take multiple years. This can take your entire life to prove that something exists, or that it's real, or that it is the case, or that your hypothesis is true. You have to actually put in the work and effort to believe in that thing. So this is what will happen. A lot of people will see thesis, usually on the news or something like that. Maybe their friends will say something to them. And they'll say, okay, this is likely true. I exist in this circle of people that believe the same thing. So since I have no opposition, nobody can tell me otherwise. I'm believing this thesis now, whatever this thing is. Could be anything. And they refuse to do the counter research, I suppose. And so now they're left with this warped reality due to their own failure. And then the more they do this to things, the more they exist outside of reality. The farther they are from the real world. And then every now and again, one of these people fucking crashes out on Instagram, and then you just watch it and you're like, well, how the fuck did this person get here? And it's like, because they aren't existing with us. You know what I mean? They're not with us, literally. They're in their own world, and it's bananas. Do I blame them? No, not necessarily. It's like, they're people. But I do think it's imperative to actually prove yourself right for yourself. Do the research. Examine the counter arguments. Listen to what people have to say that don't agree with you. And actually hear them. So what'll happen is people will sometimes hear counter arguments to whatever they believe. And then they'll say, well, you're being unreasonable because you're not listening to me. Therefore, this argument isn't happening and you're wrong. That's just lays. Have the conversation. Take the time to examine the argument. Maybe not right then, but hear people out. I think that's imperative for like what you want to achieve as a human being. One does not simply, literally, one does not simply hear everything and then absorb it. You know what I noticed? I noticed that when I was like smoking a lot, and the other day, I had a really good day at church. I go to church now. I might talk about that, but like, I noticed that I was more susceptible to persuasion the more I smoked. Like, even if I wasn't high. So the other day at church, right? And let me start by the reason I'm going to this church specifically. I was listening to like salsa music in the fucking parking lot of Walmart, of all places. And this, I think he was Colombian. He was like, first of all, I was stoned as shit. And I had my windows down because I was airing out the smoke. And the fucking guy was like, hey, is that salsa music? Is that salsa? I was like, yeah, man, it is. And then we talked a little bit in Spanish. And he was like, you should come to my church. We have this group where we are like learning Spanish or something for Americans. People that are trying to learn Spanish, you should come. So I go to the church. First of all, I've never actually even joined the group of people that are doing that. I haven't figured out where that is or how that works yet because I haven't seen the guy in a bit. But I go to the church. It's cool. It's good. And I enjoyed the sermon. The thing about church is, I do think everybody has a church. And even if your church isn't a physical building, I think there needs to be an area, or not an area, like a place where you congregate with multiple people that believe in the thing that you believe in and have that thing be real and true. I believe that's what a church is. But side note, so I go to the church, it's great, and I appreciate the pastor being authentic. In the past, some of the churches I've been to, the pastor's been very performative, and it really takes away from the authenticity of the word in general. And so then that pulls people away from the church. So it's like, is that the pastor's fault? Or does the message that he's conveying reach so many people that that's just what happens naturally? I don't know. I've never been a pastor. So I'm not going to sit here and say that my old pastor, is a fucking retard. I'm not going to say that. But I am saying that he was, I think, corrupted by how many people he reached. And that can happen. You see this with mega churches sometimes. It's like the bigger the church is, the less soul is being purported by the pastor, in my opinion. So I go to the church, it's great, right? Like a week later, I can't go. I had something that Saturday morning, and so I didn't get much sleep. And then the Sunday morning, I wasn't gonna get much sleep either. Every time I go to church, I work the night before, so I end up getting like 5-6 hours of sleep. It's not much sleep. So two nights in a row, I wasn't going to be enjoying the session or whatever. So I was like, I'll just skip this week. Next week was vacation. And then literally during that week, I actually ran into the guy in Walmart, of all places. Do you know how many people are in a Walmart? Do you know the odds of me going down the aisle looking for crackers, not finding them, turning around, leaving the aisle, hitting the corner, and almost running into the guy? What are the odds of that? It's the same dude that I saw that fucking was mentioning the salsa dancing music or whatever. Same guy. And I was like, okay, this has to be special. Maybe that's crazy. But I was like, dude, I mean, what are the odds this is just, it was a coincidence, but it was a special coincidence. You know what I mean? And so I say, maybe if there is a sign, this is what it would look like. You know what I mean? So I said, I'll go to the fucking church again. I go again, and it's great. I was relieved of ailment I had. See, look at the camera now. I have to turn this corner. I hope it doesn't fall. Here's the thing. I believe that there's a limited amount of control that we have over the mind. Obviously. I mean, we know the unconscious mind exists, and the collective unconscious is real, and it's extremely difficult to debate against that. So if the unconscious is real, let's start with this. And we say, how do you control the unconscious mind? I think you have to believe in something outside of yourself. That's true. And dude, I was like freed from an ailment. I would convince myself that I needed to do certain things that I knew were hazardous to my health, my brain, my goals. I knew it, and I didn't stop because I believed that's who I was. Literally, I was like, I have to do this. I have no choice. Not turning yet. Would have got hit by that Jeep. Holy shit. Oh, we're upside down. Yeah, buddy. Anyways, dude, I convinced myself, literally. I said, I have to do this thing. I can't stop. This is who I am. Some people have vices. This is just my thing. And I sat there and literally convinced myself in my mind. And then I went to church and I healed my spirit like my grandpa said to. My grandpa's a pastor, and he said, hey, you need to go to the church, and you take medicine for your body. There's medicine for the spirit, and that's the word. And so I go to the church, right? And even if you go further back in these videos on this channel, you can find a point where I'm literally not a Christian. Literally. That's why I created this channel, was to watch my development over time. And I'm getting exactly what I wanted out of this. So the first thing I want to say is, that's how you believe in shit. And this video right here is definitely one of the realest ones I've filmed in a really long time, because I've been stoned for 6 months straight. So I knew while I was filming those other videos that they were definitely I don't know, they're just missing an element. And I enjoy this one more. So 10 minutes, we're up.